It's just Bruce, he don't bite. Hello.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bruce from GEN-Xer Custom Toys. Chef Bruce, whatever I'm called this week, because I got so much going on, I sometimes forget who I am. Today I want to talk to you about video games, specifically VR video games, and people my age, Gen Xers. I see kids all the time doing reviews and playing games and talking about the VR videos, and of course they know way more than I do. I'm not saying they don't. But guys our age, we like to game too sometimes. And I recently got into it, and I thought I would talk a little bit about it, how I got into it, what to look for. And if you've never done any VR gaming is basically you get a headset, puts you in a whole other world. Everything's in 3D, and it's pretty amazing. So let's get into it. I'm going to tell you the history of how I got into it, and then we're going to talk about the gaming system I'm currently using right now and what I plan to do after that. So here you go. So we can't talk about new video games unless we refer back to our roots, the old video games. This is Pong. Late 70s, mid 70s maybe? I don't know. It's actually a little bit before my time. I have a sister, she's 7 years older than me. And this was her game. This is what she used to play at the arcades. I was still younger then. Wasn't really playing any video games just yet. But this was the very first one that anybody played, and everybody was fascinated. They'd play it for hours. And when the first one came out, I think it might have been Coleco had the gaming system. I could be wrong about that. I'm not an expert. Never said it was. But I remember she brought it home and to sit there and just play with her friends and stuff like that. She never let me play, but she'd play with her friends hours. They would just sit. It was just, it was brand new back then. You have to understand the way you guys are looking at videos right now or video games right now that are thinking, oh my God, these are so good. You know, that's how we felt about this. And look how much it's evolved just since the late 70s, early 80s. So that was Pong. But I didn't really grow up with Pong. I grew up more with the retro games. This is one of the reasons why the 80s were the best for us growing up. I grew up in the 80s. That's whenever I hit my time to play video games and stuff like that. We had the arcades were open. You go on the pocket full quarters and you play all these games. And the Atari 2600 came out, which was awesome. We played the 2600 for hours at home. And we just thought that was great. We just thought that was like the best. You know, look at these graphics. They were 8-bit graphics, and by today's standards, they were pathetic. People say they're vintage, they're retro now, and they're, you know, and you have to understand at the time, we just thought it was awesome. We would spend all day playing these games, and it was just so much fun for us. And by then I was probably between 10 and, I don't know, around 10 years old, we'll call it, between 10 and 13. That's a good area to put my age whenever we used to play these. And of course, we go to the arcades and take quarters and, you know, pump them into Donkey Kong and Pac-Man, and, you know, growing up, because that's one of the reasons growing up in the 80s was so great. They don't do that anymore, and I don't think kids are ever going to understand what we went through as young adults going to the arcade. It was a social experience because we didn't have Facebook and stuff back then, so, or online games or anything like that, you know. So we did that, and then after the retro games came out, then we went into the Super Nintendos, and Nintendos, I know, way out of order. Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, ColecoVision, and other ones that I've left out. I don't even have a timeline for this. I don't want to make this an hour-long video talking about stuff we already know because we grew up with it. Still don't know how to talk, but I'm learning. So yeah, I mean, that was and then you know, the gaming system. Then on the PC, I was a PC guy through the 90s. If I played a game, my game choice through the 90s was definitely Quake 2, Quake 3. I loved that game. We had a group of people at work. We get together, and that's whenever the conference calls were out. We were on a conference call playing Quake on the shared internet and everything like that. And that was like, oh my God, this is so cool. You know, as we thought back then. Today's standards, once again, that was like cavemen. But we had it, and we were thrilled with it. You know, we even said back then, I wonder if we can do this now, what's going to be next? Well, the next is going to be the virtual world of VR, which I'm a little out of the video game age now. I'm not a huge gamer, and I never really was a big gamer, but I enjoyed it when I was younger. But I got curious a couple years ago about VR, and we're going to talk about that next. So just a short, real quick story about how I got involved in playing VR games and messing around with the whole VR thing. Because I'm 54 years old now. So when I was doing this, I was maybe 50, 49, 50. It started when I bought this phone. And this is an Alcatel Idol. And of course, it's way outdated now. I know that. I don't. It's not even my regular phone anymore. I keep it around just for the hell of it. But it came with this 3D glasses. And this is actually the set that came. You get the 3D headset. There was another piece on here. In fact, let me throw the picture up right now, and you can see right here what it came and looked like. Okay, as you can see, it has a case on the back of it, and you carry it around. But the software on here, it's got a little VR program. This is how I got introduced to it. It had a little VR viewer program, and you click on that, and it would take you into kind of like a YouTube type of a situation where you could go through videos, you could skydive, you could to ride a roller coaster, stuff like that. And I thought that was really interesting. So I started messing around with it one night, and I just thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And how it works is, well, this cover comes off. It's just a dust cover. And you can see it's just like a pair of glasses, that fits over your face. My glasses actually fit inside it, but my wife's didn't. And once you get your video up, you put it in the machine like this. It clicks in, and you can see my phone's in there now. And then you just put it over your face. Keep in mind, I know playing these games you're going to look ridiculous. Right now, I can't really see you, and I don't have it on. I'm just demonstrating. But surprisingly, this was very comfortable when I first put it on. I thought it was going to be uncomfortable, but it's not. It really isn't. So I started messing with this for a little bit, and I found a few games, and I realized there's no controller. I mean, the way this is controlled is you'll see a dot in there, and you put the dot on what you want to click on, and you hold your head still, and then after a few seconds, it clicks on it automatically. There's buttons underneath here, but honestly, I could never get them to work, so I don't know what's up with this. But it's very outdated, I know. But you're talking to an old man who's not used to this kind of stuff. Young people in their 20s they're just laughing at me. Oh, you're sure, I know all that stuff. I'm glad you know it. I don't. Neither do other people my age. That's why I'm doing the video. So keep your snarkiness to yourself. So I played a few games on this. There were a few games available. Nothing real special. I found out what I really like to do was go through the haunted house events. And they'd take you through a room, and you'd wear these. You could look around the room. Stuff would jump out and scare you. You could see previews. I think one of the previews was The Ring, the movie The Ring. There was a preview in VR 360, which you could sit there and, get jumped out and see parts of the movie. I just thought it was really interesting. But the problem with this is, even with my glasses, I couldn't see so well because the lenses here are only set at one width. It's called a PD, pupil distance. My pupil distance is 67, which is rather high because I guess I got a big fat head. I don't know. But it didn't quite line up, and you can't adjust these. So I was at Walmart one day, and the furnace came on. So I'm going to click over to the next section. So, yeah, occasionally the furnace comes on down here, and you aren't going to be able to hear me, so I got to cut it every once in a while. But anyway, with that said, I was at Walmart, I was walking around, and I saw this in a clearance shelf for like $5. And it's right here. So I bought it. I'm like, yeah, $5, why not? It fits any phone. Now, by that time, I had bought a new phone. I never throw a phone away. Oh, I actually transformed that phone into a security camera, so I can't show you the phone itself. But this said it would fit any phone. So I'm like, okay, well, I can use my phone now. I could even use the Alcatel if I wanted to, because I did have some good games saved in that. And this one works basically the same way. It opens up in the front. You get your game going, and I'll just put the Alcatel in there. Any phone, which is nice, even the bigger phones, because the newer phone I got was bigger than this. It wouldn't fit in the other headset, so I think they did it on purpose. So yeah, you get your phone, you line it up with the line there and the two holes, you close it, and it holds it snug in there. And of course, you're going to put it on your head like I did the last one. This one's a little bit heavier. I'll do it real quick just to show you. And my glasses fit in there nicely. Now this strap, it did come with a strap. The strap I have on here is actually redneck engineered out of an old piece of elastic, because I had broken the old one. That's how much I played with this. And this one was actually better than the one I had from Alcatel because I could actually play a game with better sound because it came with headphones. You plug your phone into the headphone jack in there. There's one on each side, goes into your ears. There's a button on the side here. This button actually worked. But what's a game without controllers? The Alcatel, I couldn't use any controller. With this one and the new software on my new phone and the way the games were working, I could Bluetooth connect an Xbox controller to it. This is actually not an Xbox controller. I grabbed the wrong one, but pretend this is an Xbox. I think this might work anyway because it's got Bluetooth on it. But you can connect a controller to your headset and actually play games in a better quality with a better gamer feeling. Like I said, I'm not a huge gamer, so don't sit there and think because you play games 24/7 that you're this awesome gamer. You are. I'm not. I play them when I feel like it. But this actually worked better. And I've gone through 2 or 3 phones and still was able to use this to watch. You can watch movies. There's a ton of stuff on YouTube. If you type in YouTube VR, and there's actually the app YouTube VR that you can put on your phone. Most phones are VR capable. If you didn't know that, yeah, most phones today are VR capable. If you have a headset like this, this is a cheap alternative. If you just want to watch movies or ride a roller coaster, like I was saying, so that was that. And I used that for a while, but I'm starting to think I like to play Fallout 4 on the PC, and there's a VR version, and I'm like, I want it. Well, it won't work on the phone and the systems I'm using because, like I said, these are all outdated. I know they are, but they were new to me at the time. So it was very interesting. So I decided that I was going to buy a Quest. Now, this is just last week. So I jumped on eBay, or at first I jumped on Amazon to see how much the new Quest was going to, cost. Because I'm like, well, why don't I just go ahead and get a brand new one? Here comes the furnace again. Taking a break. Be right back. Okay, yeah. My furnace keeps kicking on. You see them in my basement. It's where I shoot all my videos. I could go upstairs, but honestly, the house is a wreck. So you're stuck with me down here. This is where I've been doing every single video I've ever done, by the way. Yeah, I don't think I've done any that weren't in this room. Oh, there was one I did sitting over there, but it's still in this room. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So I decided I was going to try the Quest thing. I did some research on it, and it said that it could handle Fallout 4, which is one of my favorite games. There's a VR version of Fallout 4 that I haven't gotten it yet. But keep in mind, this is just last week. So I went on Amazon, and I saw the Quest 2s were about $400. And I'm like, okay, it's not that I can't afford it. I was hoping to try it out first. Like in the old days, you go into a store, you could sit there, you could try a video game before you actually bought it. You really can't do that anymore. Especially with COVID and everything, putting it on your face, I guess. I don't know. It's just not the same as it was. So I decided to go to eBay and see if I could find one used. And I came across this one, Oculus Quest 1, which is the version before, the brand new one, which is out now. And I'm like, well, I got it for $120, which, is a pretty good price considering what they were selling for. So I'm like, I'm going to give it a try. And if I don't like it, I can always either give it away or put it back on eBay and sell it again. It's not that I couldn't afford it. Let's give it a try because, these first two were kind of lame overall. I mean, I could sit there and watch the movies. If that's all I wanted to do, I could just keep these and use my cell phone and not worry about it. But I want to play a game with better controllers. I see them on TV playing, it's called Beat Saber, and it looked really fun. And there's a Star Wars game, too, where you get to fight Darth Vader with a lightsaber. And I kind of want to do that. I know. I'm a big kid at heart. Most of us GEN-Xers are. So I went and pulled the trigger, and I won the auction. It came to the house, and as promised, it worked just fine. Plugged in, didn't have any games on it at all. And I thought Beat Saber was supposed to come with it, but it didn't. And maybe it did when the guy had it and he cleared it out. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So I went in and I bought it because everybody said that's a really great game. And I really liked the game. I did. I played so much the first night I got this that my shoulder kept hurting. I got a bad shoulder. But yeah, I played it, and then I got a couple other games. There was a roller coaster adventure game, which is free, where you ride these roller coasters, shoot targets. I love shoot 'em up games. I'm sitting there with guns shooting these targets, getting seasick on this roller coaster. But yet I'm having a blast. I'm an old guy sitting there on the couch, and my wife said I looked ridiculous, but you know what? I don't care. I had fun. I'm still having fun. So I did that, and it was definitely worth the $120 I spent. I'm happy with it. And I did some more research, because I'm like, all right, well, since I really like it, I might go ahead and pull the trigger and get the Quest 2. But while I was doing the research, I'm realizing the Quest 2 does everything that mine does, the Quest 1, and not much more. So I'm like, why do I want it? And there's a lot of people out there, they have to have top of the line, brand new, like people with iPhones, they have to get the new iPhone every few months, spend $1,000. Why? When I use this Alcatel phone, I swear to God, I used this for 4 years. 4 years. It still works. It really does. The reason I stopped using it was the software updates and everything. This phone couldn't keep up after a while, so I had to get a new one. Look, the screen doesn't even crack at all. I mean, that's how good I am with phones. So, yeah. So anyway, right now I'm playing this guy, and I don't have it sitting down here, so you're going to take my word for it. I love the controllers. It's all point and click. It's a lot quicker than having to sit there and stare and wait for the circle to activate on what you're trying to click on. So if you go to enter a password, it's like click, 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 click. You have a keyboard, in the virtual world. It's a lot easier. So people my age, if you're considering it, maybe try to use Oculus One first, see if you like it. And I played that, and I played, there was this game I got called The American Dream. And like I said, I like shoot 'em up games. And this game was so cheesy that I loved it. It was cheesy as some guy talking in a 1950s voice, talking like this. And through the whole thing, he narrates it, and it just was so cheesy that it was a good game. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it. I recommend it. It's worth it. It's got a surprise ending. I think it might be politically motivated. I don't care about that kind of stuff. I just know I got to shoot a lot of cool stuff, and it was fun. So with that said, the Oculus One is what I'm using right now. I know I'm still outdated. This is November 2022. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. November 2022, and I'm still using old technology. I get it, but you realize this came out in 2019. It's not that old. So, Oculus Quest is probably the next thing I'm going to get. Because that's the good thing about being a Gen-Xer. You young people can make fun of us all you want to. Oh, you don't understand games. Now, we understand them. We just have jobs and don't have time to play them all the time. But we do have something you don't have. Expendable income. So I can buy whatever the fuck I want. Right now I'm using this. I'm having fun doing it. So the next step up is going to be this Oculus Quest. I'll show you what it looks like real quick in case you've never heard of it. I just want to add one more thing about the Oculus Quest, one or two. It is self-contained. You don't need to worry about putting your that probably made a noise. You don't have to worry about putting your cell phone in it. It's all self-contained. It all works by itself. So if I hadn't mentioned that, I just wanted to throw that in there real quick. And okay, back to my normally scheduled stupidity. Oculus Quest 2, I may correct myself. It's basically the same thing. I'm sure it has a few new features. When I did see the reviews and the comparisons and stuff like that, the best thing they said is it's a better resolution. Well, my glasses are pretty thick. Honestly, when I'm watching these videos and playing these games, they're not crystal clear for me. So I don't really think it's going to be a difference for myself. If you have 20/20 vision and you're that picky, hey, whatever you want to do. Like I said, we're Gen Xers. We have expendable income. So that's about all I have to really say about that. There's other uses for these. Like I said, there's VR websites you can go to watch movies, play games. There's a VR store right in the Quest itself where you can find their games. If you're able to learn, there's a thing called Side Quest where you can install third-party games into your Quest. I'm just learning that, so I'm not going to get very deep into that. It does work. I have put 2 games in there. There's other things you can do. There's an obvious point that I haven't mentioned yet, where men want to explore a little bit, have a little bit of fun, so to speak, that we can't tell our kids about. Kind of the reason we delete our history every day. Yeah, you could do that too. It's pretty wild. So that's all I have to say about that. We're going to go to the outro, and I hope to see you later. One last thing. I am going to review a piece of software that I got. It's called Replica, your AI friend. And that's where you have a little friend online that you can talk to. and I just got it, so we're going to mess with it for a little bit, and my next video might be about it. If not, keep looking. One will be coming up because I have another cooking video I want to do too. Like I said, though, here's the outro. So, Gen Xers, that is my video. I hope you found it a little bit informative. Like I said, this video is geared toward people my age that don't have a lot of time to game, and we just want to mess around a little bit. And I just want to let you know what I learned, which isn't a lot, but hey, I didn't know it at some time. Now I know it, and I'm glad I did what I did because I'm enjoying myself. So if you like video games and you're thinking about getting into VR, I say, like I said, I would do what I did. Get a used Quest somewhere, try it out, and if you like it, then you can resell it and buy a brand new one, or spend the money and get the brand new one. It's, you know, you can do what you want to. Like I said, we're Gen Xers. We have expendable income. Man, imagine if we had expendable income when we were kids, though. All the cool stuff we would have had that we wanted. All right. Thanks for watching the video. I'm making it short as possible. I will see you next time. Hopefully, I will review the software I just talked about. And we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.
It's just Bruce, he don't bite. Hello.